Hi everyone, in today's video I'll be covering 3 topics. The first is how to prepare your skin for makeup, how to identify your skin type and to use an appropriate kind of base. The second topic is how to do a dark grey black smoky eye, the typical smoky eye. And the third is how to choose the right red lipstick for you, and I'll be listing some of my favorites as well. Okay, so first let's talk about skin. You always have to make sure that your skincare, that the base that you've formed is perfect for your skin type. By that I mean your skin has to be very adequately hydrated. You cannot have dry skin and then not moisturize your skin, not hydrate your skin and apply a liquid foundation and powder and all kinds of powder makeup and expect your skin to look good. Your skin will, the makeup will flake, it'll look really bad in person, and that's a look that you shouldn't be going for. Okay, so first what you have to do is always use your actives as your first layer of protection. Now this one that I'm using is a vitamin C serum by Timeless. It also has vitamin E and ferulic acid, which I really like very much. It's a direct dupe of the SkinCeuticals CE ferulic serum, which is $185. I'm not paying that much, so this is a good one. Okay, so 1 pump of this serum. Lay it gently. And remember that your actives always have to be the layer that is closest to your skin to improve their efficacy. The second layer that I like to use for my skin type, for my skin needs, is this serum by Peach and Lily, which is full of niacinamide and peptide complex. Okay, so what this serum does is it works on the size of your pores. It definitely won't reduce the size of your pores. That is not possible. But it keeps your pores clean and reduces dirt in your pores. Never forget your neck. Okay, now the third layer, and one of the most important layers according to me, the second most important layer, is your hydration. Now this hyaluronic acid toner or lotion is the Gokujun Premium Lotion by Hada Labo, which is a Japanese skincare brand, which is one of my favorites. I appreciate the detail that goes into the Japanese and Korean skincare brands because they always research their ingredients. The cosmetic appearance is excellent. It doesn't pill, it doesn't flake. And this one, I think it has 5 different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid. So that improves the penetration of the molecule into your skin, thus making your skin hydrated. Lay it down evenly. And I always go back on my dry zones with more hydrating serum. Again, let's invite neck to the party. Okay, and while this dries up, I'll talk to you about my moisturizer. Right now, I'm loving this one by Peach and Lily. It's their matcha pudding antioxidant cream, which is also rich in niacinamide. And you can already see the effect that the skincare routine has had on my face. Like, my skin is looking much more hydrated than it was before. Oops, I have some goop. This is definitely a promising start. Okay, so let's go in with our moisturizer. Take maybe like a penny-sized amount and layer it on top of your hydrating serum. Now remember this, skincare routine is always customized by skin type. So you have to be very instinctive about your skin needs. Not everybody has the same kind of skin, the same type of skin. So you have to make sure that you research ingredients, you have to research skin reactions to different products, your skin type, and customize a routine that's right for you. Okay, now the last layer and the first most important layer is sunscreen. Now I like this one by Klairs. It's their soft airy UV essence. It has an SPF of 50 plus and a PA of plus 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 plus. Now let's talk about this. The number that goes with the SPF, it's the amount of protection you are getting against the UVB rays. Now the UVB rays are the rays that cause tanning and skin burns and stuff like that. Now the UVA rays, that is what your PA is protecting you from. Now the PA, the UVA rays, they cause skin aging, photo aging it's called. So generally, the ingredients that are used in Asian and European sunscreens are not approved by the FDA for some reason. Now that is why American sunscreens are much more poorer in quality than the Asian sunscreens. I much prefer Korean and Japanese sunscreens. Layer, layer, layer. Don't forget your neck. Make sure to cover every inch of your exposed skin. Now, this sunscreen, or basically any Korean sunscreens that I've used till date, they do not leave behind a white cast, which literally looks so ugly, I can't talk to you about it. And this one, it's also very emollient. It's water-based, so it hydrates your skin. It doesn't sit on your skin like goopy oil. And it layers beautifully under makeup. I love this sunscreen. It's my favorite. I'll link it in the description box in case you're interested. Okay, so now let's talk about primer. If you have dry skin, now today I'm talking mostly about dry skin because oily skin has it cut and dry. But dry skin, it's a little trickier and also combination skin. So for dry skin, I never ever would recommend something like the Porefessional, which is meant to minimize the appearance of pores but also mattify the skin. Mattify basically means dry your skin out. Now, if you have dry skin and you're applying a primer that's designed to dry your skin even more, and you use a liquid foundation that dries down to a powder finish, you are setting yourself up for failure by making your skin look dry, crepey, and flaky. So generally, the type of primer that I like to suggest for people with dry and combination skin, even normal skin, you can fix oily skin. Like during the day, if you get oily, you can always use a little bit of powder on top and normalize the appearance. But if your skin is dry and you are done with your makeup and you still see that you're dry in certain spots, trust me, there's barely any way to fix that situation. So what I like is this Hangover Primer by Too Faced. It's very hydrating. It is silicone free, so you know that it won't try to blow your pores by making you look dry. So I appreciate this one. And also for nighttime, I like this primer by Charlotte Tilbury called the Wonderglow. It has a very gentle sheen, like a glow from within kind of a glow. It's beautiful. But today I won't be using primer because generally these days I much prefer to not use a primer for some reason. I don't know, because my base skincare works best for me. It adheres the makeup to your skin better. That's what I have discovered. But if you do prefer a primer, go for any of these. Okay, so today I'll be using the foundation by Maybelline. It's the Fit Me foundation, the matte and poreless. Generally, I prefer a cream foundation or like a stick foundation or a mousse for a very hydrated appearance. But because I've layered my hydration already, today I'll show a typical, like generally people like to buy liquid foundation. So let's work with this today. And I also will be using a blending sponge. This is the Beauty Blender For drier skin, I would always say that go for a blender more than a brush, because when you soak the blender in water, it retains that hydration and transfers it to your skin, so your finish won't be dry. But a sponge also tends to shear down the coverage. So what if you're looking for coverage from your foundation, I would also always go for a brush. But if you like a more natural look, sponge is your friend. Use the bigger end to blend the foundation into your skin. Always start from the inside and go out. Never start from the outside. That's the general rule of thumb. I've discovered that it's the right thing to do. I don't know exactly why. I can't explain it. Or maybe I can. The periphery of the face is always drier and doesn't need as much coverage, because as you blend out, it's adequate. Nobody tends to look over here in these places, but in just where the light hits you, you have to make sure that your makeup has been blended just right. Inside out. Okay, so this was our very first layer. This week has been very hard on my skin. So I need more coverage because I have some very visible blemishes. So I'll be going back with another layer of foundation. And this time I'll be targeting those specific areas. So I'll be using a brush. Okay, you know this is a well-loved foundation when I've almost finished it. This never happens, but okay. So we layer the foundation on the blemishes. If it's looking like this, don't panic. Okay. Now, we'll go back with our sponge and blend the borders of this patch. And then a little bit more on my smile lines because they are darker. And now the next step, concealer. First, let's do the under eye. Again, let me emphasize on the fact that a stupid V will only make you look ugly. So let's only go over the darkest spots in the under eye. Make it look natural, because as good as all those other techniques look in photographs, unfortunately, we spend more time off camera than on. So you have to make sure that your makeup looks good in person. Now, one trick using this blender for your under eye is that when you blend it out and then immediately come back in. This will prevent the concealer from bunching in your under eye lines. You don't want concealer goop in your under eye because it looks very obvious. Okay. Blend the edges. Okay, now, because today we'll be using a very dark colored eyeshadow, we need our eyelids to be primed adequately. So you have to make sure that any and every area that is going to be slathered in shadow has to be primed very well. So you hide all the pigmentation that's already on your under eye, because that can literally change the color of the eyeshadow and spoil the entire look. You don't want that. So just make sure that you blend the concealer all over the eyelid, including the inside. Never forget this area. This is always one of the driest and darkest areas of your eyelid. Never forget it. Give it some extra attention. Blend, blend. And done. Okay, I am satisfied with what I see. But if you ever feel like you need a little bit more coverage or a little bit more something somewhere, do not hesitate to go back in thin layers. Remember, you can always add more, you can never take away. And blend your foundation into your neck. Okay. Now let's set the concealer and foundation. Today I'll be using this powder. What's this called? Airbrush Flawless Finish by Charlotte Tilbury. It's a good one. It's not too drying. And I'll be using this powder brush by Morphe. It's the E3. So first, let's always first set your under eye and your lid. Having a powdery base for your eyeshadow always makes your shadows blend better. Okay, and let's go on the oily zone. Cheek. And my chin. These are my oily zones. So I always powder them more than the other areas. This one you don't need to add more powder. Just go over those areas with your dry brush. That's good enough. Okay, the next step is, for this particular look, I always like to do my brows next. So this time I'm using this eyebrow brush by NYX. It's the Fill and Fluff. Don't forget my brow lessons. Comb up. Let me move my mirror a little bit so I can see better. I'm not wearing my glasses. Okay. Up, up. Always up. Okay, and let's fill the bald spots. Start from the arch and then slowly move back in. Definition first. And fill. And then move to the front of the brow, desired shape, and fill in. Distribute the product uniformly using the spoolie at the back of the brush. Comb up. Okay, repeat. Definition. Fill it in. And then move to the front of the brow. Now, what kind of eyebrow product should you be using? If you have naturally thick brows, go for a thinner pencil. Like, what's it called? The Brow Wiz, not the Definer. The Brow Wiz and the NYX Micro Brow are two great products at two different price ranges. Okay, I like it. Good enough, I think. Maybe a little bit more here. Okay. Alright, now let's do the smoky eye. Never forget the first step. It'll never change. It's always lay down a base color on your entire eyelid. For me today, I'll be using different palettes, but the one that's constant will be the Born to Run by Urban Decay. Let's get our fluffy brushes out. Something like this. And take the color that's closest to your skin tone. I would go for this one and lay it all over my eyelid. If you feel like the brush is dragging, just add more product because you want a powdery base. I'll go back for a little bit more. Lay it down. Okay, all right. Now let's go and define our creases. Today, because we are doing a black, gray, smoky eye, we won't be going for the warmer tones. We'll be going for something a little bit more cool. So let's look for the most appropriate shade. I think this one in the KKW X Mario palette that I'll be using is something that strikes to me as the most appropriate one. This one right here. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's neutral. A warmer one in comparison would be something like this, which is a lot more yellow. Let's see if we can get it like next to each other so you can see the difference for yourself. This one in comparison with this one. This is a lot more brown, a lot more yellow, and this is slightly more cool. So let's go with this. Let's define our crease. Now, if you already have deep set eyes, you don't have to go in with a lot of product in your crease. That will just make your eyes look more hooded. We don't want that. Okay, so let's layer this product in our crease. Always start from the outside and go in, because more product on the inside means your eyes will look more close set. Again, don't want that. So layer, windshield wiper motions, back and forth, back and forth. Go in light layers. You can always go back with more. Now this time we do not have to define the outer V because we are going for an overall smoky look. So let's lay down a cream eyeshadow, or you can also use a gel eyeliner. Just make sure that you lay down the shade all over your eyelid, or a little bit closer to your lash line. Lay it down. It's fine if it's not perfect because we'll be blending it out anyway. And go back with this kind of brush, a stiffer brush, and blend it out. Make sure that you do not wait for too long before this step, because a gel liner will set really quickly. We just want a canvas for what's coming next. So if it's uneven, don't worry. Just make sure that there's more product closer to the lash. So I think I need a little bit more over here. Line, line, line. Do not have that lid and lash gap. This area right here has to be covered. Okay. And go back in and blend. Take it to the crease. Not in the crease, just to the crease. All over the lid. Okay, the same thing with the other eye. And blend. Be gentle. To the crease, not into the crease. Okay, that's adequate. A little bit more here. Okay, now we'll be going in with our second dark base, which would be something like a jet black shade. Let's take a flat eyeshadow brush, something like this, so it can cover more area, and because it's flat, it lays down product evenly and effectively. Lay it down. Lay it down in light layers for two reasons: fallout, and you can blend easier with lighter layers. Follow my words. Okay, same thing with the other eye. Lay down the dark eyeshadow all over. This is a jet black matte eyeshadow. And go in, go to the crease, not in the crease. After this step, you go back to your first fluffy brush, go back into that same neutral shade that you went in and blend your crease. No harsh lines. Remember, no matter what the look, we do not want harsh lines. So blend out the border. Same thing with the other eye. Blend the borders. Okay. Now, the last step, we'll go back in with a little shimmery black shade. It's up to you. If you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want, you can just let it be here. This also looks appropriate. I like to go in with a little bit of a shimmery charcoaly shade and just lay it on the center. Okay, perfect. Now again, let's go back with, just wipe it off, with a fluffy brush, a blank brush, no product at all, and blend all the edges. The key to a smoky eye is blending, especially with a black smoky eye. You have to always make sure that the blending is seamless. Go in layers, thin layers. Okay. Now, our second best friend, our lower lash line. For the lower lash line, what you can do is you go back with your gel eyeliner, lay it down in your waterline as you would your kajal. We'll take care of this. I'll show you how, if I remember. Okay. Lay it down in your waterline. Okay, we'll blend it out. We'll go to the second eye, do the same thing. Okay, now with your crease color, go back with a flat brush, something like this, and outer 2/3 of the lower lid and blend. Blend it to the outer edge of your upper eyelid. Right, that's our eyeshadow now. As for this stupid fallout, let's go back with our powder brush and take some of that powder and flick the shadow off. Flick, don't go back, just in one direction, the outward direction. Flick it, flick, 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 flick. Gone. All right, at this point, what do I want to do? Okay, let's go and curl our lashes. I generally don't curl my lashes, but for this look, why not? Okay. I like to do this in bursts instead of just holding it once. About 15. Repeat. Okay, now let's do mascara. This time I'm using one of my favorites. It's the Lash Princess by Essence. Very volumizing, very lengthening. It's the perfect mascara. Start at the base and brush up. Wiggle and brush. Go back in. Never wiggle your wand this way. That just causes air bubbles in your tube and spoils your mascara. Don't do it. At the base, wiggle, brush. Wiggle and brush. And then do the length. Okay, and then lower lashes with a light hand, wiggle and brush through, wiggle, brush through. I'll call it the midnight smoky eye. Okay, so don't worry. Let it dry, let it dry. Let's do the rest of our face. We'll first do a little bronzer or contour. Today I'll forego my creme contour and just do powder, a cool tone bronzer on the perimeter of the forehead. Blend into the hairline. It's a seamless application. Hollow your cheekbone. See how high you want this to be. And the jawline. Okay. All right. Now, generally, with a black smoky eye, I like to use a more cool toned blush. Now, this is not just one factor for the undertone of the blush. You also have to see what lipstick you want to pair it with. Generally, for an eye this intense, I go for a nude lip. But today, I want to talk about red lipstick. So, let's see. Let's do a cool pink blush. This is Paaaarty by Tarte. I always like to go in with an angular blush brush, so the blush adheres better to your skin. Smile and lay it down up high, not down low. Drape it, take it up high just next to the corner of your eye. A little bit more here. Okay. Yes. Okay. let's talk about different red lipsticks. The first thing that I like is a red lip balm. This is the shade 92 Amour by Chanel for a basic red look. The good thing about using a balm is that you don't have to be very particular about the borders. You can just go back and blend anytime you want. Basic. Okay, but we don't want basic today. We'll be talking about everything. So, let me get my makeup wipes. And remove this. Let me show you. A basic neutral red lip that is something like this. This is Red Revival by Maybelline. It's not too cool toned. It's not cool tone is like a true red, like a ruby woo, which I'll show you all the difference between the reds in a few. But this is a very neutral red. And the bottom. Another good thing about using a creamy red is that you don't have to really worry about the borders and the lines and stuff like that. Anything you do, there is not much in the way of failure when it comes to a creamy red lipstick. Look 2. Now the next look would be a little warm, a warmer red. Let me show you. Or you know what, let's do a cool red and then we'll do the warm. And in the end, we'll line our lips and do a matte red. Okay, now the next one I'll be using is a true cool tone red, which is this one by Revlon. It's their shade Love is On. Another cream finish. Always remember, a cool blue toned red makes your teeth look whiter. I like this. Okay. The next thing we'll be using is a warm red. Let's go back with our powder and run over the area. Now, how to do a red lip liner. There's not much room for error when it comes to a red lip liner, so you have to make sure that you have a steady hand. Right now, my favorite lip liner is Bossy by Colourpop. Let me go and sharpen it a little bit. The same rules for overlining as the nude lip video, if you remember. Never overline the sides. Always overline the center. And with the top lip, especially with a lip this color, it's a no-no. Never overline your top lip. Fill in. And let's do an orange red. My favorite orange red of all time is Elson 2 by Pat McGrath. This is a matte. It's a comfort matte, which means it won't dry your lips out like crazy, but it still looks matte. It's a fiery red. I like it. Okay. And the last look is a typical matte blue red. I like two blue red matte lipsticks. The first is the typical most famous choice, Ruby Woo by MAC. And it's more easier to apply than my second choice, which is a liquid lipstick, which is Redrum by Jeffree Star. So today I'll be going with this one because, you know, there's nothing different about applying a bullet matte. It's the same thing as this one. Line your lip, be gentle with it. But this one requires more attention. Plant your pinky finger on your chin for stability. And go with your liquid lipstick. This is my final look. Now let's decide what type of red you should be using on different occasions. Now for the night time, I would always prefer a cool tone red. Typically a cream finish over matte. It's definitely more, a cream finish or a gloss is definitely more glamorous than a matte look. A matte I would always go for during the day. Now what kind of matte? If it's more towards like a sunny afternoon or something like that, like a brighter day, I like to go for the more orange based or like the warm toned reds. During the evening time, I generally prefer a blue based red, but that's your call. Now your skin undertone plays a major role in this. If your skin tone is neutral to cool, always go for a warmer matte, a warmer red that neutralizes the whole undertone business. If you have warm tone skin, like yellow based skin, go for a cool tone red, which again neutralizes everything, makes your teeth look whiter. And you can always, this is only for the very confident people. You know that you're not going to be careless with your makeup. You can always during the evening time go for a gloss. I like to layer a clear gloss over a red lipstick. Do this using a lip brush. Squeeze some gloss out on a surface. Never go inside with something or just directly apply the applicator on your lip, because that lip, it'll spoil everything in there, trust me. So squeeze some out on the back of your hand and then using a lip brush, gently apply on this, focusing on the center of your lower lip, and then dab it and slowly drag it to the corners and layer a little bit more on the center. That will make your lips look more voluminous and juicy. Okay, as for the finishing touches, if you have dry skin or you know that you'll be out in the sun or something like that, you'll be sweating, you want your makeup to set well, so you do that using a setting spray. My current favorite is this by Morphe. It's their continuous setting mist. Do I have a fan? Okay, I have this book, never mind. So close your eyes, even layer all over your face and fan it dry. How do I look? Okay, this is our finished look. Any questions, any requests for my next video, just let me know. I'll cover everything. Oh, and for this right here, take a Q-tip and gently brush it off. It'll come right off. As soon as your mascara dries, flick it off. That's it. Simple solution. I'll use a stiff brush, works the same. Magic. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you.